guys, it's me, and you know, my little Princess Peach. She's such a little love bug. I love this baby. Alright, enough. Not in the face. She don't get that. Anyways, survived the hurricane. Y'all gotta understand, I take these like a week in advance, so at this point, there's some storms out there. There's always storms out there. Nothing even has a name yet, so, you know, no big concern. However, you know, hurricane season is far from being over, so we'll probably get a few more of those. You are such a goof. You're so goofy. Such a goof. Oh, the baby. The baby. Anyways, so we went 3 days with no electric. You just sit down there, please. The issue wasn't so much going 3 days without electric as it was there was so many people. And there's, well, let me see, this is a week later. Yeah, there's probably still a lot of people with no electric. They couldn't give you a time frame. So it was like, okay, everybody, up to 2 weeks. Woo! So I was super happy. 3 days was what we got. Anyways, we have electricity. We are filming. We are back in business. Ninjas, beauty, ninjas, beauty, ninjas. Woo! Stay tuned and mask up. From pharmacy. It's a warming mask. You put it on for 10 minutes and then you're supposed to like rinse it off. You know, like don't, oh, I might have done this with the wrong end, but oh well. Woo. It's a honey mask. Did I ever say it's a honey mask? It smells like it's a honey mask. It's yummy. You can definitely tell though, when you put this on your face, it starts to warm things up. And, you know, keep away from your eye area. Which I, you know, I do. I mean, I have other, I have other creams and ointments and so forth for that. But yeah. As soon as you start spreading it around, ooh. You can feel it start to warm on up. I do feel like this has done me some good. Yeah, I feel like the texture has definitely gotten better. My owie spots are less owie. And, well, I completely doubt that I ever lose all of these blemishes, you know, that they're not going to be gone altogether. They definitely look less angry. If you go back and check out, you know, videos from a while back, you'll see that I have some really angry stuff. Like, it's not just pink, it is red and angry looking, you know. And I feel like, well, it still looks crazy. It doesn't look as bad as it used to. And you know what? It doesn't feel as bad as it used to. My skin, well, on the nose, it's still pretty bad, but my skin will actually be so sore that I don't even want to touch my face because it's painful. It's just Like, the skin is just sore. Yeah, I don't know any other way to describe it. This little thing. This was a neat little thing that came with a jar of ointment. Sunday Riley, I believe it was. Yes, Sunday Riley. But it's really nice for, like, not having to, especially if you have nails, you know, you dip your fingers into stuff and you got it all gooped up under your nail, and then you got to deal with getting that out of there, and, you know, it's pain in the booty. Pain in the booty. So, Hurricane Helene. Helene? I don't know. Anyways, that was a very strange hurricane. Now, I've been living in the same spot. I've been on this land for almost 30 years now. A lot of people don't live in the same exact place for that amount of time. So, you know, it's hard to say, like, what happened, that, you know, what's the norm, what's been going on. I'm here to tell you, I've been through a few hurricanes, and while my little spot here is kind of a bubble where I just don't get the damage that everybody else does. I'm on kind of high ground. All the trees are like surround the property, so it's, you know, and there's just not a lot to get destroyed here. This was a big one as far as, like, the area of land that it covered. This is one of the biggest hurricanes that I've been through, and talking with locals that have been here longer than me, this is, yeah, she was something else. So there are a lot of things that made this hurricane different. Number one was the size. It just covered a huge area. Number two was that thing was traveling, man. It was traveling. Now, most hurricanes will stop in the Gulf because warm water is where hurricanes get their power. So they'll stop in the Gulf or slow down and start spinning and, you know, getting stronger and stronger. And this one didn't do that. She didn't slow down, but it still made Category 4. Really strange, okay? Really strange. Now, the eye made landfall about maybe 90 miles. Let's just round it out to 100. 100 miles, okay? Less than 2-hour drive. 100 miles to the west of me. Now, I went outside because I was planning on doing a hurricane video. You know, I was going to show you guys the rain and the wind and the, you know. So I went outside and took a little video, you know, just every few hours or so. I'm not going to put it together because nothing happened. Like, seriously? We are 90 miles from the eye, and number one, the rain that we got was very spattering. I mean, I've had way worse rain in thunderstorms, okay? It was like, okay, that's good for you guys. I thought it was just me, but I've talked to people in Newberry, I talked to people in Gainesville, you know, I'm on Facebook in our local forums, and no, our entire area got basically no rain. Okay, feeder bands off of hurricanes is one of the things that keeps us, like, that's our rainy season, you know? So for there not to be any rain was really strange. Now, we had rain the day before, but that wasn't from a hurricane. That was our typical 3 o'clock in the afternoon storm. That storm, that little typical 3 o'clock in the afternoon storm, created more rain than the hurricane did. Okay? All the destruction that you see in Florida is either wind damage Or the flooding is from the surge, where, you know, it was in the water and it's forcing more water up onto the shores. You know, the flooding from the surge. None of that inland. Okay, none of that. And so it hit right inside. There's like a little divot where the panhandle begins on Florida, where we connect, you know, with, like, you know, land mass, and that's where she hit. And I gotta tell you, a lot of them, a lot of them hit there. You know, went a little bit through Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina. It was still moving pretty good, and it wasn't. Generally, when hurricanes hit land, because they get their power from water, they slow down and they get, you know, they get weaker. They lose their strength. This heifer, she went to South Carolina or North Carolina, and, you know, the surrounding area. There's Tennessee got nailed. Like I said, she went to Georgia, but it didn't start to drop rain until it was on land. That is not a typical, and I don't care what the meteorologist says. I've lived through a few of them, and I'm telling you, hurricanes don't hold water until they hit land. They rain the whole damn time. This was not typical. This storm was, the size and the way that it acted, very strange storm. I don't think it was a hurricane. They're calling it a hurricane because they didn't know what else to call it, but this was something bigger and badder than a hurricane. We just have never had bigger and badder than a hurricane, so what else are you going to call it, right? Seriously? It dropped most of its water. I mean, it dropped water on a lot of other states, but it sat on North Carolina and dropped the majority of its water there before it decided to, you know, oh, okay, I'm going to get a little weak now and, you know, move on out to other regions. This is why it's been so bad. Them people are used to, like, blizzards and avalanches and, you know, it freaking mountains. Who the hell gets a hurricane in the mountains? That's the third thing, okay? I'm telling y'all, this was not a hurricane. We're going to classify it as a hurricane because we don't know what else to call it, but this was something bigger and badder than a hurricane. Definitely, this was a really, really weird thing. What was it caused by? Who the hell knows? You know, hurricanes are caused, well, no, they're caused by a lot of different things, but they pick up their power from the warm water. So possibly the change of the temperature in the water down here, it's not as warm as it used to be. I don't know. No. All I'm telling you is this was not your typical hurricane. I am pleased as punch that the worst thing that happened to me was I went without electricity for 3 days, okay? Thank the Lord. Meanwhile, though, and by this time, I don't know what's going to have happened. You know, a lot can go on in a week, but I mean, I've been watching, I think it's about time to take this thing off. I've been watching the news, which doesn't say anything, and then I've been watching, like, TikTok, which you gotta kind of watch it with TikTok, because you get a lot of people that are out there for no reason other than to get views, you know. Same with YouTube and Facebook, you know, they're just scrapping for views, so they're gonna say anything. But I followed a few people, and one of the people that I followed, okay, there's two different ones. One of them that I followed was a couple of guys that they went from Jacksonville, drove took their backpacks, and the one young fella, his parents live not in Asheville, but somewhere near Asheville, and he was not able to get a hold of his parents. So his friend and it was kind of funny because his friend was like, yeah, and he don't even have no social media, you know. So anyways, the friend was like, we're not posting anything until we're actually on foot in the wood, you know, pretty much on foot in the woods, because we don't want to be stopped. We don't want to be told that we are not allowed to go in the area, because we're going. You know, and kudos to them. So they you know, got as far as they could, and then they started going through like fields, and so that they could go around where like roadblocks were and so forth, you know, where they're keeping people from going up there. And I imagine there's, you know, a lot of looting and people just curious and, you know, getting in the way, you know. But these two guys, they made it. The last I saw of them, they were on a mountain. They hadn't made it to the young man's family, his parents, yet. But I was thinking, like, you know, that couple raised their boy. They raised a tough boy that loves his parents. My son would be like, wow, sorry, Mom, I'm gonna miss you. He would not jump in a car, travel a couple states, and climb a mountain to see if I was even alive or not. Anyways, they finally made phone contact, and his parents were okay, but they are landlocked. They have no way to get out, and being as they're not hikers and they don't really have any supplies, you know, they can't get out. So the boys are, you know, last I saw, they're still on their way to the parents, and they're taking, you know, what supplies they have in their backpacks. Also, there have been private helicopters that are making drops, and drones making drops to people that can't get anywhere. They can't get in or out. You know, they're dropping gasoline for generators, you know, water, because evidently that's all the water is crap from the flooding. You know, that the water from the flooding is full of garbage and chemicals, and, you know, it's not safe to even be in, much less, you know, use as drinking water. So, you know, there's that. Anyways, my time is up, so I'm gonna let you go. But let me know, were you in any of this? Hopefully y'all are safe, and you know, Many Percy, do you know anybody up there, you know, all this about what's going on? And I just pray that everybody is safe, and that everybody is healthy enough that you can wake up dancing, boom, boom, wake up dancing every single day. Bye-bye.